I want you to remember the one man who beat you.
If I allow myself to go down into that place, I'll never come back.
I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman! Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Batman Who Pod proudly bring to you episode 5, featuring the $1,000 Bruce Wayne, Matthew Vanieri, and my co-host and tag partner, Chris Rob Ripsky. What?
God damn it, son. My name is Stone Cold Steve Austin, son. And if you want a podcast, give me a hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Wow, that was incredible. Folks, Stone Cold Steve Austin just helped us in the intro there. And that wasn't even a cameo.
It's free press. Thank you, Steve,
free.
for WrestleMania
Thank you.
2022.
Oh, man, thank you, Steve, for that wonderful moment and the stun heard around the world. Probably the best stun Vince has ever taken in his whole career.
And the worst stunner that I've ever seen in my life.
But he laughed about it, Steve, and it made it a little better. We know that.
I'm just glad he had a good attitude about it, because I probably would have killed him right there. But
yeah,
anyway.
well, poor Vince broke his ankles. Wow. Well, folks, we have a fun-filled, packed episode for you today. This is what we like to call the San Diego Comic-Con Fallout Edition, featuring Chris Robert Ripsky, and he fell out of Comic-Con. And this episode is going to be packed with FOMO, tears, joy, happiness, which is also joy.
You better bring your Kleenex and a condom, because it's about to get crazy.
Woo! This is Ric Flair's final match.
Wearing a purple shirt.
Well, folks, without further ado, let's get into it. Rob is going to be taking over and talking a lot about San Diego Comic-Con, because he was live in person, featuring all the fun things, activities, collectibles that we'll never be able to afford.
Yeah.
Rob's going to break it down for us, and it's going to be a fun time. So, Rob, without any further ado, take us away, because the last thing that I remember from you was a picture sitting outside by yourself, wishing that you had a PSP, a PlayStation Portable, for those that don't know, playing a classic video game, possibly Battlefront 2. I don't know. Take it away. What happened at the San Diego Comic-Con for those that don't know what it is?
Yeah. I really wish I had a PlayStation Portable at the time, because I was losing my mind with boredom.
Steve Borden?
So, yes, the Stinger. I'm going to give you a Stinger splash right now.
Woo!
So, the Comic-Cons that we're used to going to, like C2E2, which is this weekend, by the way, we show up early and we do our own thing, right? Like, if you want to see somebody, get in line. But with San Diego Comic-Con, you literally have to go on, like, whatever you're interested in. You have to go on their Instagrams, their websites, their Facebooks, you name it. You have to plan weeks in advance, because if you go in blind, you're going to be totally lost, and the whole event's going to run right over you. Okay. So the way my strategy was, so I want to meet Todd McFarlane, which is like my mecca of people that I look up to. You have to get in what's called an everything line. So I had my old address. I had to pick up my badge. So on Thursday, I went to go pick up. On Wednesday, I picked up my badge. Thursday, I went back there just to see how the place looked and to see how the line looked. I got there around noon. So I went with my buddy and his wife. And they're like, well, if you want to get in there right away, because what's going to happen is people are going to get in there, and it's just, people are just going to, it's going to be a frenzy. So what you have to do is you got to get in this everything line, which you have to stay there overnight. So
let me cut you off. So this everything line, I'm assuming you just said you're saying overnight. So I'm guessing this line is pretty big then. Is it big already when you're there, or does it just grow as the night goes on?
Yeah, the earlier you're there, the best chance you get. So I got there at noon, and a lot of people didn't know what they were doing there. So I'm asking questions. You're like, oh, I don't know what this is. Oh, I don't know.
You have a PSP or?
Yeah, is that a PSP or is that a Game Boy Color in your pocket?
You're
But
just excited to see me.
yeah. So, but what I'm trying to say is it's not just what I want to see. It's like everything you want to see, like exclusives, like the toy companies, you name it, like because they have on-site exclusives. And if you don't get there in time, they sell out. So people join this everything line to get what they want to go to right away or right when the place opens.
Okay,
You follow me?
so now am I limited to what I can ask for then, or I mean, this is the line just to get in. You don't get like a ticket that says, "Oh, hey, I want to get in the Mattel booth for their exclusives."
Yeah. So what happens is you already have to have a ticket. You get in the everything line. So I had to wait. When I sent you that picture, they weren't letting anybody in the line yet. So I was literally waiting off to the side for like 3 hours. And then I got in the line like at 5 o'clock on Thursday. And I stayed the whole night. The whole point is so it's like a long, like a like a amusement park line. It gets that long. And then around 9 o'clock, no, I'm sorry. It's probably like 7 o'clock in the morning. They start bringing people in the building and they shuffle you in the building. And it turns into like, I'm trying to think. So they bring you upstairs. Everyone's got to be calm, cool, and collect because nobody wants to get run over like a stampede. And it literally like turns into, I thought of like the airport scene from Home Alone. They bring you upstairs. And then once you're upstairs, like you have to like go around the perimeter of the building. And then you come to the very end where they stop you again for like another 2 hours. And so everyone's like packed like sardines now upstairs. And like around 9 o'clock, 9:30, they give you the green light to go downstairs. They let you in like a half hour before the rest of the public.
The general public, yeah.
Yeah. So, but there's escalators and they're like everyone's screaming like slow down, stop running, especially like when you go into like the showroom floor. So everyone's got to be cool with each other. None of us want to die trying to get in just the showroom floor. So we're already upstairs. We go down the escalators, and then they still shuffle you like another twist until you get to like the actual doors to get in the showroom. Which, by the way, it's not like McCormick Place. It's one huge room, humongous, and there's not like a downstairs like McCormick Place or like a basement. Like I said, one big floor. So once people finally like people start running like when it's getting closer to the showroom, once people enter that showroom floor, it's a free-for-all. Everybody wants to go to where they want to go to. Like, so if you want to go to Hasbro, Mattel, Sideshow's not giving anything out, but Mondo, yeah, Jesus Christ, Mondo.
More later.
And yeah, so crazy. Mondo's on another level, man. And so I just happened to run to the McFarlane line, and I was like fifth in line, thank God. And yeah, so that was the start of the experience. Well, where should I go from here? Anything you want me to go over next, or
we got a list here. Let's go ahead and just get straight into it.
Yeah.
But let's start out. You just mentioned it, the Sideshow booth. There was a live event that you started so that I could watch. Thank you for that. It was awesome. Yeah. And then there was a little bit of a surprise there that you ran into somebody that some of the people that listen to this channel may know, may not, but he's gonna get a plug.
Hey guys, it's Chris the Batman Statue Collector. Hope everybody's doing fantastic. I wanted to do kind of a highlight of some of the Prime 1 pieces. Of course, I did the full Sideshow booth tour here, but I do want to show you each individual Prime 1 piece in a little bit more detail, just in case you wanted to check them out.
Yeah, so I got there, and like I said, like not many people are there at the moment. So like people who want to do publicity or whoever. So, and I'm by the towering Patterson statue that's like half the size of my damn body. That's not that long, but are we still talking about statues?
Well, yeah, okay. We have shifted, folks. Okay. Back to statues.
Yeah, so here I am. I'm recording.
It's a pretty crazy statue, though, for the people that I'm sure you're going to insert the video here, but it's towering. It's a 1/4 or 1/3.
It's a quarter scale, yeah.
Yeah. So it's
with the base, it's just huge. So here I am. I'm recording, and ironically, I'm going to send this video to you And on the side of me, I hear like, that voice sounds familiar. Who's that? Or I didn't say who's this. I'm like, I know who that voice is.
Shininess of it again. You have the construct coming out of the ring. Very, very awesome. This is a very special pairing, and again, you're going to need some height for these. They're definitely high in terms of scale, but absolutely worth it. Of course, you guys know Prime One's craftsmanship over the years. They always deliver, and really, really special pieces from them. So, that's awesome. We also have that one other piece.
And sure enough, I look to my right, and it's on YouTube. His name is the Batman Statue Collector, Chris. So we got 2 Chris's in one vicinity. It's like so crazy.
How are the
So I try to get in his like video on purpose so I can like see myself on YouTube, but it just kind of ruins everything with the whole mask thing. It's just like, okay, I'm on there, but you can see this much of me, which is really annoying. But I didn't interrupt him. I let him do his thing, and then sure enough, like it escalated because he's talking to Gem Collectibles, another statue guy on YouTube, if you know him. So here I am. I'm like, these 2 guys that I watch on YouTube, and they're like interacting with each other. I'm like, holy shit. So like they were talking, I kind of went up to him. I'm like, holy shit, it's like 2 worlds colliding. And I said, hey, my name's Chris, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, are you guys just meeting each other for the first time? And Gemmin's like, yeah, like, we talked to each other on like Zoom and stuff online, but this is the first time we're actually seeing each other. I'm like, well, that's cool. So I said, well, it's nice to meet you. And then Chris seemed very appreciative. Like he couldn't believe people were coming up and actually recognizing him and stuff. And he said that later on his YouTube channel. It's like the best part about him going to that event was people coming up to him and recognizing him and giving him praise and stuff like that. So that was cool.
Number 1 was the people. Number 1 was meeting you guys, the fellow collectors, meeting people in the statue collecting industry. That was top for me. I had over 80 of you come up to me and say, Chris, it's so awesome to meet you. I love your videos. You have no idea how good that made me feel. I had people tell me, I don't ever buy something until I watch your videos, or I always want to see your opinion before I buy something. Like hearing that just from a guy from Kansas, it's just, it means the world to me. That you guys care what I have to say, that you like wanted to meet me of all, it's like it just blows my mind. So thank you guys for that. Thanks to each and every one of you that came up to me. It was, again, just incredible.
And then he's like, you want to take a picture of me? I'm like, sweet. So he took out his phone. We took a selfie together, and he's got a Facebook group called the Batman, the Brotherhood of the Bat, I believe.
Oh, the Rogues Gallery is that special that he does live, right?
With his friends, yeah. But
Yeah.
I think it's the Brotherhood of the Bat or Batman that he has on Facebook. So I joined that group, and I said hi to him on there, and I introduced myself again on there, and I mentioned both of us, saying that we have a podcast, and it'd be great to one day, have a podcast with you and just talk about Batman and the passion of collecting. And he's like, yeah, that'd be great. Just, things are kind of crazier right now. Let's just let things settle down and get back to me later. So soon enough, I'll message him again and see if he wants to talk to us. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool. Always cool to run into people like that and have them be appreciative and and super nice. All right. So that's pretty awesome. And again, those videos will be inserted so people can kind of get a visual of what that was like. Moving on a little bit though, you did meet a couple of few great people. We'll go with Scott and Greg and Todd. So if you have any stories about that experience, that would be great. And I think you got some things signed by each of them.
Yeah. So I met Todd, and I don't know if I want to go into it right now, but I talked to him 3 years ago, the last time Con was here. Long story short, it was like a surreal moment because I had no idea about the wristband thing at the time, because that's what I had to do this year. I had to go in early, sleep overnight just to get the wristband to see him. But 3 years ago, I had no idea because I was brand new to this. It was the first time I went. And so there was this whole fiasco 3 years ago. It was like kind of a movie, man. I don't know if I've talked to you this before about this, but I didn't have anything for him to sign. I just wanted to talk to the guy. I drew Venom and Spider-Man. It's something I did for school, and I got second place ribbon at this this county fair by me. So I got a ribbon for an award of something that he made. I just wanted him to see it, just to see what he thought, you know. But they wouldn't let me in this line, and I kept getting cut off and cut off and cut off, and people are just being really shitty. And then it's like, you know, it's like, come hell or high water, I'm going to talk to this guy. And I got to the end of the line, and they were still like he's not going to talk to you, you know, whatever. I said, please come on. I'm like, there's only a few more people. Just let me talk to him. A person at Comic-Con talked to Todd's manager, and she goes, I'll be right back. And then sure enough, the girl waved me over. I'm like, wow, really? So everybody is gone. There's this huge line. Everyone's gone. And sure enough, they call me over, and I am waiting and waiting. And then I see Todd come out, and like, you know this because you know me, but like I said before, like he is like the end all of me for
the quintessential
for illustrating, and you know, people look at him for other aspects. For me, it's illustrator because I'm an illustrator. So it was like out of a movie, right? Like he had his back to me, and I just see like his silhouette, and then he turns around. He's like, "Hey, how are you?" And then I just like, "Hey, man, I just want to talk to you. I drew this. I just wanted you to like get your opinion on it." And he looked at it, and he's like, "Oh, that's cool." And I'm like, "Yeah, man, like just wanted to show you this. I'm an illustrator myself." He goes, "Yeah, it's pretty good." And that's all I wanted it to be, right? But sure enough, he took his hand, and he started. I had my portfolio with me. I forgot to mention that. It was in my portfolio. And he by himself started flipping the pages and started looking at my stuff. And I was like, "Well, what the hell is going on right now?" It's just like so surreal. And there's like some funny things, funny drawings I did in there that he caught and he laughed at, which is cool. And at the end, I was like, "So what do you think, man?" He goes, "You know, you're on the right track. Just keep on going." He goes, I'll never forget the time where someone paid me the first time to draw something. And it's kind of blurred right now because it's been a few years, but at least I got his blessing, right? He said it looked good to keep on going.
Hey, so I was talking really fast, and I forgot to mention this as well. So after I got done talking with them, you know, I didn't have anything for him to sign. This is my portfolio, by the way. I could have just had him sign this with a Sharpie. That would have been badass, just to have, you know, Todd, good luck or whatever, in silver Sharpie, you know. But I was starstruck, and I couldn't believe that we actually had a conversation, so I was kind of in awe at the moment, if you can believe it. But here's a really cool touch about that whole thing. I didn't have anything, right? And I just want to be like, "Hey man, can I take it? Would it be okay if I take a picture with you?" He says, "Yeah, absolutely." And he comes over and he says, "But I want to take it with your picture in it too." Now, I had my ribbon right there, but I took it out since. But he made the conscious effort to, let's not only take a picture, but let's take a picture together with your efforts. I mean, that alone just meant the world to me. I forgot to mention that, and I just want to throw that in there right now. I believe that was the fourth time I met Todd too. The first time when I was 10 in 1999 at WizardCon, Chicago. It was him and the actor who played Spawn. They were signing autographs together. It was pretty sweet. So that's where it all kind of kicked off and became real to me at 10 years old. Second time, of course, was 2019 at Comic-Con, where we talked. Third time was the same year. It's when he had his record-breaking Spawn. And I actually drove all the way out to Arizona because he had a special signing event just for the book. And he actually broke the Guinness Book of Records for the single most independently owned comic to break over 300 issues. So that was awesome. And then the fourth being just a few weeks ago.
So I met him this year, and like, you know, I don't want to be the guy like, "Hey, remember me?" Because come on, man, he gets that like 1,000 times over. So he signed him. I had him spine. Jesus Christ! I had him sign Spawn #1, which like that's probably like the #1 thing he signs. He's probably so sick of it. But it's so cool now because I have #1 signed and I have 301 signed, which is the record breaker, and I have those side by side, which is pretty badass. But he signed on my book, and I just said like, hey man, like last time Comic-Con was here, we talked, and I actually made it on the trailer of your documentary, which is cool. If you go to YouTube and you look in the trailer for his documentary come out, I'm actually in it talking to him. Holy shit, right?
Good to meet you. It's amazing to see the fan interaction between Todd and his fans. That is the coolest thing to see.
Without the fans, then we don't have a career. The fan is never a nuisance.
He takes this drive to push boundaries, do things in a little different way, but always be there for the fans, and I think that's kind of the key to his success.
I was fortunate enough to make it on the trailer of your documentary. You and me were talking here 3 years ago, so it's pretty neat.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, yeah, look at you.
Yeah, you and me.
And I said, well, when I talked to you last time, you said my stuff was good and to keep going. And without hesitation, he goes,
And how'd that work?
What does Rob say? Starstruck Rob? Good. And that was like, he was like,
Shoot, just keep climbing the mountain.
Thank you very much, Todd.
All right, you be good.
I said, thank you. And I moved on. I don't want to take too much of his time, right?
Right.
I want to be these, because you hear some of these people talking online. It's just like, dude, get over yourself. But I just want to like mention that, like, hey, man, we talked before, blah, blah, blah. Just so like, you know, I have a plan. What I want to do next year, I'll tell you off air, which is going to be pretty crazy. Nothing too crazy. But so yeah,
I'm going to kidnap him, and then I'm going to put him in a van, and then I'm going to be able to show him my portfolio updated. So do you think I should keep going?
Yeah, exactly right.
The real kick in the balls was here I am, I wait in line for a whole night just to get my wristband to meet Todd. And then on Saturday, I get a text from my mom saying, Todd! I said, huh? And then before I can even text back, she sends me a picture of her and him together. I'm like, what the fuck? So she was outside the convention center and just kind of scoping around looking for people, and sure enough, there Todd was. And she goes, my son's a big fan, can I take a picture of you? So she got to talk to him, no mask, took a picture, no mask, and I just kind of feel like a chump. But well, good for her, and she had her Comic-Con moment, I guess.
And then I met, Greg Capullo and Scott Snyder. Again, I get starstruck with these guys. And I go up to the table, and every time I met Greg, he always makes a comment about my shirt, which is funny because when we met him at C2E2 2013, I think, I was wearing the Spawn shirt.
The Spawn shirt.
Drew.
Yep.
And he goes, nice shirt. I'm like, well, yeah, well, you drew it. I said something like that. When I met him 2 years ago, like he was just like talking to people like out like in the wild. I was wearing a Mark Hamill animated series Joker shirt. He goes, yeah, it's like the same comment every time. Hey, it's a cool shirt. Hey, nice shirt. But this time I was wearing a Spawn shirt with the Batman logo, and he was talking to another guy who drew Spawn right next to him.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, hey, look at that. See that? It's the Batman logo with Spawn. It's a cool shirt. You know, it's like the same. So it's like, yeah. But anyway, so I had him sign. So this right here, we got, goddamn background. We got King Spawn. This just came out last year, 2 years ago. It was his sketch cover, and then because they came out with a couple new Spawn titles, we got King Spawn, Gunslinger Spawn. So I had him sign another one of his, Gunslinger Spawn. And we got to go with the classic, right? Son of a bitch.
Yeah,
anyway,
we'll get that. That is the
Court of
Bat
Owls.
Monster.
Yeah, that was already pre-signed actually. But yeah, so that was cool, and you know that was really cool to meet them. And then, last but not least, I didn't meet too many people this year. I met the people that I really wanted to, but you know, I met the legendary
Greg Horn.
Yes.
No
Scott
social
Campbell.
media posts. Oh yeah, that's right. Whoa, that looks great. That looks really good.
He uses
I like
a really
the green pops on the cover a lot.
It does. He uses a really fancy marker, and he told me, he's like, "Hey man, like, wait 3 minutes before you touch this because it's still going to be wet." So I was like, and he had a really long line. I was surprised how long his line was, but yeah. And then I met Brian Rude, which he's been doing all the Walking Dead art. Very cool guy. He talks like you and me would talk. And then I was going to the bathroom later in the day, and I was like this close. I almost shoulder blocked Jim Lee.
Oh man.
And it's like the crazy thing when you go to these is that, it happens a lot. You bump into people like that a lot. And it's like, you don't want to make a scene, because if I were to go over like, "Hey, Jim Lee, hey, hey, can I take a picture of you?" Like, it's going to flock towards them, right? So I was trying to be respectful. I wasn't trying to take his time. He kind of had his head down, and he was going up the escalator. Sure enough, did I know it's going to lead into the next thing right here. So he went to the DC panel, and he was talking about DC and drawing the Joker. And sure enough, McFarlane crashed his panel and announced to everybody that this December that there's going to be a crossover between Batman and Spawn, and Capullo is going to be drawing it. So,
oh, dude, that's awesome.
And then we have his brother from up. Oh, I'm coming. Okay, I'm gonna take a bathroom break because I know how Todd is. He's just gonna talk.
What I think they're asking themselves right now is, why is Tom McFarlane at a DC panel? It's a curious thing.
Good question.
So I'm going to explain it to everybody in 5 words, and at the end of that 5th word, you're going to get it. Here we go. 5 words: Batman, Spawn, Capullo, McFarlane, December. And it will be the single biggest comic book event of 2022, and it has the chance to be the biggest selling comic book of this entire century. Spawn, Capullo, McFarlane, December, it's coming. Why does that matter?
he was on his way to that panel when I saw him. So that's pretty wild to think about.
That's awesome.
That's my list of people this year. I got to go more times next year to meet more people, because your time is so precious and it goes so fast there. Because a lot of the times, like, if you want to see 2 people, like, it's the same time.
Yeah.
And you got to think about Hall H people are standing in line just for a day for that. Most of the day you're standing in lines for stuff. So I get it now. It's 4 days, because you can't possibly do one day of shit.
It's basically going to an amusement park and waiting in line on a ride. You know, sometimes sometimes you're not able to go on all the rides because you're in a couple of them for too long.
And hopefully you don't get capped.
Hopefully you don't get capped. Not Captain America.
I can do this all day, bud.
All right. Well, that was fun. So yeah, overall good time though, huh?
Yeah. Would you like me to go into the FOMO story?
So we'll go into the FOMO story in a little bit with the collecting, because that's where the FOMO comes in. Now, moving on a little bit away from Comic-Con, there has been a giant bunch of news that has come out of DC regarding DC movie studios, which has been up and down for the last 10 years, it seems like. Up, down, left, right, in between, whatever you want to say. I guess the first big news that came out was Batgirl was canceled.
Yeah, Thank God.
$90 million down the drain.
Yeah, can you imagine having $90 million and just throwing it away? I heard they're going to use it as a tax write-off, but shit, man.
So, if I understand correctly, the movie's made. They just no post-production, or
it's pretty much made. Is they felt like they were going to take a loss, distributing in theaters, but that doesn't make any sense either because it's supposed to be on HBO Max. So I'm kind of lost with you.
yeah.
Why? But I think something happened with Discovery this past week, and they scrapped a lot of projects. And I think they just happened to take the axe to that project as well. Like, just trying to save money, apparently. I think somebody else might be running it, or they had some kind of meeting, some kind of powwow, and Batgirl was just happened to be part of it. It wasn't like Batgirl was the only thing.
Gotham Knights is dead as well. You had mentioned, right? As far as the news.
CW show, not the game.
Yes, not the game. When you first sent that, at first I was like, "Oh wow, that's weird."
Yeah,
but I
didn't
guess
know there was a show.
I didn't know there was a show either. Basically, what happened, though, folks, for those that don't know and maybe are hearing this news first, I guess DC has recently just announced that they are going to take the Marvel route finally and do a DC studio, which is a dedicated studio, and there's a head of a studio that's going to run all the DC projects. Now, during this whole time, they did not announce a scope of work over the next decade or so. They did announce, though, that Snyder's universe was going to be prevalent inside of this scope of DC movies. And I think we're getting the return of Batfleck, which movie is it?
Just can't let it die, can they?
Is it another Aquaman movie he's making in a small appearance in or something? But I guess there's going to be appearances popping up here and there.
Yeah, I don't mean to sound like an asshole, but damn, it's just like you're really dividing your fan base by keep bringing Ben Affleck back. Like, he was gone and you keep bringing him back. And then when you bring him back, people are just going to get pissed because he's not going to be permanent. It's like breaking up with a girlfriend and you're just having makeup sex, It's like, come on. Just my opinion. I everyone has a right to opinion, but can we just stick to one Batman at a time?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little different on that. I mean, if they're going to keep a separate universe like that, I'm okay with it. Like you get a kind of a different approach on Batman as long as it's done correctly, but I mean, I think really, and I think you'll agree, the main focus should be on the Batman and the sequel. That let's focus on just making that great again. Let's make a amazing sequel to that movie. But we'll see. We'll see what the next several months looks like for the DC studio. I mean, but with no projects announced, I don't know when they plan on kind of giving us that scope or timeline of what the next several years looks like for the studio.
So yeah, and just to capitalize what you said, they announced a 10-year plan. So like you were saying, you said a decade. So it is, I don't know if they have plans after 10 years, but they're planning on doing content for 10 years that is they follow the same story, just like Marvel, like you mentioned.
Yeah, so it's a DC cinematic universe now, finally.
Yeah.
Where they're going to keep the scope of the characters all together, where they're going to intertwine and the stories will connect in some facet. Because that was always the thing we had said a while ago, was like what DC did well was actually keep stories separate. They didn't need to worry about, like the Batman is great. You don't need to worry about getting him into, and I think maybe they recognize that. So that's why they're bringing Batfleck back. You know what I mean? Because they want to keep, I mean, if you're going to keep any character separate in a movie universe, I think it would be Batman if you have something good going. Because even during the early developments of Batman vs Superman, Christian Bale was in talks, or were supposedly rumored. It's still, I don't think that would have worked. I really don't think it would have worked. I think it was better that you got a different Batman. Maybe people didn't like him, I mean, I did. I think he had a presence about him, and I really like that warehouse scene. I think that fighting warehouse scene is one of the best. So, yeah, we'll see. I don't know if Batman, Ben Affleck Batman is going to be the permanent one, or there's going to be some handoff there, but only time will tell. I don't know if he could do it for 10 years. So
They need to give somebody Amber Heard's salary. So
welcome back to episode 5 of the Batman Who Pod. Again, this episode we've covered Rob's experience at the San Diego Comic-Con, which was a heck of a ride for the gentleman over there. Like I said, ups, downs, left, rights. Rob experienced it all there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to kind of touch back on San Diego Comic-Con in a way that it affected us both. In our favorite segment of the show, the Batman Who Collects. So, Rob, for those that don't know, when you go to San Diego Comic-Con, there are a lot of exclusives. And those exclusives mean that they're San Diego Comic-Con exclusives. It's very rare that you can get them. And if you do, you're getting them on the secondary market, usually for a pretty penny. So, Rob, why don't you tell us about something that may have occurred at Comic-Con for the both of us?
So there's a company that we both follow called Mondo, and they just sell like the most. I mean, I can't put into words like how good they are. They're like cinematic posters, right? But it's like the art is just fine art, top notch. But anywho, what they were offering this year was, so they not only do they sell posters, they sell like art for vinyl records. But they also sell 1/6 scale figures. So what they're offering here was something near and dear to our hearts, the Batman animated series in 1/6 scale. And they're offering both Batman and Joker. Batman has been out twice already, with the black and blue, then the black and gray. This is the third reissue, I believe, and it's back to the black and blue. I realized later that Batman wasn't the exclusive, but the Joker was the exclusive. There's 2 Jokers, and it was available online as well. So maybe even being there wouldn't even mattered. So they offered first time Joker's ever been in 1/6 scale, Batman animated series. The exclusive was like 2 extra heads and a couple more additional pair of hands and like a bomb and explosive stuff like that, So sure enough, sold out right away. So you and me are figuring, fuck, if that sold out right away, then these others are going to sell out real fast, because I think they're only limited to 1,000, right?
Yeah, it was something pretty crazy as well.
It's like 1,000 of these. So I'm there in person and I'm sending you video in real time, just going, dude, look how good these are. Like, imagine having these like in your office. Like, we've never had anything like this before, and it kind of goes back to like the Warner Brothers store of stuff they used to have. They don't make stuff like this that much anymore, and it's really hard to get down the animated series style. And Mondo's got that style too, so it really works out well. It's got that artistic style with the animation style. So I think multiple times it's sending you pictures and videos, and it's like, it was eating away at me, and I can tell it was really bothering you. So I'm like, shit. And then I think he messaged me first. She's like, dude, you went from the $1,000 Bruce Wayne to the $500 Bruce Wayne, and you just locked it right in right there. And you're like, dude, I got it. And it's like, and like I'm like, did you get 2? He goes, yeah. Did you? And then he said, did you get 2? I'm like, there's no other way. I just can't buy one. They're a pair. So
that's right.
It's like, that would feel really weird just to have Joker by himself. So, and sure enough, like when I did it, I'm like, fuck, I want to do it now because the FOMO got us. People don't know what FOMO is. It's fear of missing out. And like, we were both going to kick ourselves if we missed out on this. So I went to the food court and I had to sit down just to prepare myself to spend fucking $500. And I'm doing it. I'm like, okay. Then I'm looking at it. I'm like, wow, I'm not even gonna get this till February. That's fucking rough.
Yeah.
And then I found out later, I told you the other day, if we would have got Batman just by himself, we would have had it by now. But Mondo only sells their stuff in pairs, or not in pairs, but if I order two things, if you order Batman and you order Joker, they're not going to send it single. They want it when it's in stock, and they'll send both at the same time.
Yeah.
So, but the funny thing is, I'm making my order in the food court. I turn around, and there's sure enough Papa from fucking Stranger Things is autographs right back of me. It's like, that's the thing about Comic-Con, right? It's like, this is so surreal. Like, what the fuck is going on right now?
I thought you were going to tell me that and tell the audience that he was going and doing the same thing. He's like, I just got to get these, they're too good to pass up.
And it's a Batman reference too, because he is the chief of police in Dark Knight Rises.
He's the Wish version of Harvey Dent.
Yeah, pretty much. And he's also, what I was wondering too? I wonder if like Nolan hired him as like a nod to the hat, because in Full Metal Jacket, his name is Private Joker.
Well, no shit. What have we got here? A fucking comedian, Private Joker.
It's like, hey, you want to be in a Batman?
100%.
Because you're associated with the name Joker?
That's a great call. I didn't think of that. That's awesome. Yeah, that's really cool.
Uh-oh, Vern froze on me.
Yeah, you froze on me, but I could still see you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? No idea what happened there.
Okay, so you didn't see me talking the whole time? I'm like, oh shit.
No, I
Bernie's
did.
Froze.
Yeah, I heard you say Vern froze on me, but we're back. I don't know what happened there. No, that's cool that you're able to see those guys. But yeah, the Full Metal Jacket thing, I had no idea. That wasn't something I thought of, so that's really cool. So did you purchase anything else at San Diego Comic-Con for pre-order or anything like that?
No, I really wanted, again, Mondo had a Creature of the Black Lagoon movie poster and limited to 250 of those, and they were like $100 there. And sure enough, the same day, people are buying it there and putting on $400 on eBay. But no, that's all I could afford was those two guys.
All right, well, then I have a little bit of news. You had shown me the Sideshow booth. Mm-hmm. And I watched the Sideshow booth from the Batman Statue Collector, and I had to instantly pre-order, which is actually coming very, very soon, which I didn't realize it was going to be here so quick. Yeah, September, October, supposedly, is the Dark Knight Returns premium format figure statue.
Are you talking about the Lightning?
With the Lightning. That is the best and greatest premium format figure that they've ever come out with. I could not believe, dude. The thing has a presence about it. Yeah. So just one day I blinked my eyes and said, I have to do this. Yeah, so, and the lightning lights up. So it's
the thing is the monster, dude. It's got like it's like your whole desk.
Yeah, well, it's gonna go in the office. It should have a good presence about it. So I'm excited.
Good for you, man. You know what you should do? They have a premium format poster. You should put the poster in the back with that statue then.
Oh, do they? I did not know that.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, $90, but it's a limited edition poster of him with the lightning. And it's got all the characters like a movie poster, but it's illustration style.
Damn, I didn't know that. Neat. Well, I'll probably be getting that so that it goes with the piece then.
Yeah. So that's
yeah.
cool, man. I didn't know that. Good for you.
I went ahead and did that. I wanted to announce it to you on the pod so I could get your live reaction.
Yeah, I lost my shit at like, I'll put in video here, but they had their own Batman setup, and they revealed like the day before I went, they're reissuing Michael Keaton Hot Toys again, which we both wanted, and I'm not going to spend $900 for something that came out 10 years ago. So, and they got like a really impressive, it's not even a stand. It's almost like they're building like dioramas at this point.
Yep.
and it's like the gargoyle that he uses to strap Joker down that eventually takes down the Joker at the end of the movie. And man, it's just like I check every day just to see when the hell that's going to be available for pre-order, and it's been 2 or 3 weeks now. Not even a bite, nothing. I entered into the RSVP list and nothing. But other things they're already on sale for pre-order. I'm like, what the hell are you guys waiting on? So
now you did end up getting a new piece though, if I'm not mistaken. So what's really cool is you end up meeting Capello. You get the Bat Monster sign print, and then all of a sudden I get pictures from you. And what did you get there, buddy?
Well, I got what I discussed on the last show, and
you got what you deserved.
Yes, you're gonna get what you deserve. I got the. I'm gonna turn this off temporarily. The
baby.
owl, and this was available on Amazon. It just got released July 27th. So pretty fucking sweet.
That is awesome. That's gonna look good. Where's that gonna go now?
It's gonna go right next to Todd, the black and white Batman.
Oh yeah. So speaking of the black and white Batman Todd statue, rumors were that you said some guy paid $7,000 for that statue, and then sure enough, Rob returns to San Diego Comic-Con and it's there.
Holy shit. You know, what a fucking surprise that was. Let me tell you. So I went to, they have a Spider-Man exhibit at, they have a, oh Jesus Christ, let's go through all of them right now. They have a San Diego.
There he is. He's on the beach.
Right. There's a San Diego Comic-Con museum here. And currently until January, there is a Spider-Man exhibit.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's the main floor. There's an upstairs, there's a main floor where Spider-Man's at, and then there's a basement where they just like put like miscellaneous stuff at. And to my dismay, I'm just walking down this basement, and they got like costumes and stuff. And there he was, just hanging out in the basement. And I was like, what? I thought someone bought that. Sure enough,
I thought I'd never see you again.
Yeah, I was up there trying to like fucking make out with it.
Oh, well, that's good though.
But what I found, I read the plaque, and I guess whoever bought it, they were just putting money into the museum itself. So that what it was for.
That's pretty cool.
It was like a charity, not a charity, but the money invested back into the museum because the museum was just starting up at that point 3 years ago. It used to be a sports museum with sports memorabilia, and then they, dug the guts out and they just made it into a Comic-Con museum. So, and then like they sprinkle themes and stuff throughout the year. So yeah, I was in complete disarray that statue's down there. And then you look inside the cape in the middle, and then there's Todd's signature, and it says 2019. So yeah, that was pretty badass. I couldn't believe that.
That's really cool. I'm glad you got to see it again. But it's funny. You mentioned museums, and this is going to kind of break into our next segment, which is Batstalgia, which at this point, when we were kids, this particular store was almost like a museum for us. So folks, without further ado, we're gonna slide right into the Batstalgia, and a little museum or a store, like I said, when we were kids was, which you've probably heard us talk about before on the show, which was the WB store. They should just have one as a museum now where it has all the original items in it, because that would be cool. The WB store hit different than any other store. I mean, Disney store was always cool, especially back in our day too, when WB store was around. But the WB store was hit different for Batman fans, and I think that was just because the exclusives, the collectibles that they had, and when you walked in, like the characters, they had the big giant WB characters, Bugs Bunny, Martian Manhunter.
Oh, wow. Jesus, they had that there? No shit.
No, I wish they did. That would have been cool. But they had, the different WB characters, all these different collectibles. They had a jewelry case, a bunch of exclusives. Elmer Fudd is over there. I mean, Rob, why don't you speak on some of your experiences of the WB store?
Well, it was like the place to be as a kid, but it's like the times have changed so much. If you notice, like Looney Tunes are barely even mentioned anymore, which is kind of sad. Like they had a resurgence with Space Jam, but I didn't even bother watching that trash.
No.
Um, but it was in a league of its own. There's nothing out. It was like nothing out of its nature. They had, I would imagine they were exclusives because you couldn't get in any other store. We didn't have access to the internet as kids. The internet wasn't around. Maybe it was just happening as we were kids, but we couldn't get our hands on anything online. And then, if we were, a good boy, maybe we got something.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there was exclusive mugs. I mean, one of the things I always remember is the art gallery, because the art gallery had Batman the Animated Series, like cells, from the actual, and they were signed by Bruce Timm, and a lot of the animators and stuff. And those were just, I'd always go in there with my parents and I'd be like, dude, this is awesome. But again, when we were the age we were at, when we were going to the Warner Brothers store, you're not buying that. You're not getting a cell shaded or a piece of the cell of, Batman the Animated Series, because that back then that was expensive too,
Oh yeah.
So I know they had like special like watches and jewelry section too,
Yeah. Watches were so huge back then. They were like that Burger King. Every time like a movie came out, they had watches.
Right. That was one of the big things, like the Jurassic Park watches. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, those were awesome. I mean, when you walked into the store though, like right in the gold lettering, the WB, they called the studio store, if I'm not mistaken, because that's what it was. It was kind of giving you like an experience of like walking into like a theme park store almost,
It had that feel, yeah.
Yeah. And it was very, I mean, you would just go in there and you would find a bunch of stuff that you wouldn't be able to find anywhere else. And yeah, I don't know if but I don't remember when it kind of sunsetted for us. I know it was there for a couple years, but I don't know if it was anything beyond that, because like I said, the Disney store had always survived, but the WB studio store was kind of like a blink of an eye. Like the 90s Batman movies. After that, I feel like it went away, after Batman and Robin, Batman Forever and stuff. So
if I could just by a feeling, I maybe it was like 99 or something like that.
Yeah. The end of the Monday Night Wars essentially was the end of the WB studio store.
No, there's 2 more years after 99.
In 2001. I mean, come on. That little run there doesn't even count. That wasn't even a run. It was the sunset peacefully.
Yeah, pretty much. But it's like, I think it affected you and me more because not only were we Batman fans, but we were fans of, like film and cinema. And that's where it really hit you hard. It's like, if you're just a casual person, maybe not as much, but that was like stuff that we really were into. It was like heightened, for us to be a part of that. Do you have anything still from that store?
Dude, I don't think so. I mean, the thing was, it's like you never bought like the action figures or anything there because they were always a higher price. Like you could go to Toys R Us and still get the same like Batman movie figures or anything. So like we would the stuff that was really exclusive was like we were kids, so it wasn't like anything that we would have purchased. Now, if we were there now, we would have things like some of the higher end stuff that was over there. I think that my mom's house may still have like a Looney Tunes mug or something, maybe.
Yeah.
But that's really about it. Yeah, I can't even think, because I remember us looking on eBay for those Batman the Animated Statue, like with 12-inch statues or whatever they were. But to be honest, a lot of those exclusives are tough to find, even because even if you look at it on eBay, there's not a whole lot of them there, if any, and they're not in great shape.
Yeah, I just want to let you know that I just got a message that we got 1 new follower right now.
Oh my gosh, folks, you heard it live here right now, dude. 1 new follower. Let's go. But yeah, I mean, you remember Daffy Duck used to be in there, and these were like big statues, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So it was cool to be there. They had that little kids section too, where you can kind of go and play like,
In the
because it was
spaceship.
the spaceship and the screen was in the back, you know. I
And
mean,
they
it
had
wasn't,
buttons on there you would press
Yep.
and they would make different sound effects.
yeah. I mean, it was like a staple to get, like if you were going to Orland Mall, which is the mall that we grew up by, like you went into that store regardless. Even if you were there twice in the same week, you just went anyway.
Yeah. It had that same feeling like going to McDonald's or going to the goddamn play slide,
The
you
play
know.
place, yeah. Yeah.
It had that same feeling. And I don't think a lot of things these days are even targeted towards kids like that. It's just like a lot of kids don't even like have that. They're just not. It's not the same anymore.
Well,
It's
no,
not like a
because
guy. It's not like an old man.
well, it's virtualized. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
where the difference is. You know, and we're going to go ahead and insert some pictures that we find that we have of, you know, what some of the storefronts look like. And maybe we get some inside photos, but it was one of those things. WB store, the JC Penney's, and the Sears catalog. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you're a little kid and it's Christmas time, you just wanted to like, hey, I want this. They have, you know, whatever at the Warner Brothers studio store. Oh, and then here are all these wrestlers from the JC Penney catalog here.
Yeah. Exactly.
But,
Kmart was really big too with their wrestlers. They had a lot of.
oh yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that'll wrap up Bad Nostalgia. We kind of wanted to just kind of dive into that store because it did mean a lot to us, and it was short lived. You know, I remember they had Christmas exclusives too with those characters and stuff, so that was
I
cool.
imagine so. Yeah.
But
Probably they want like what, a Santa hat on or something.
Yep. Cool stuff, which we would have decorated our places with now, I'm sure.
Hey, if they can make a new Justice League movie, we can bring back the WB store. Okay.
Oh man, that's right. We need to get on a big enough fandom to say, let's open up one Warner Brothers studio store somewhere.
Dude, just like Joliet Mall was the only mall in America that had Suncoast.
Oh, that's right. Suncoast, man, there's some nostalgia right there. You want to pre-order this movie today? No.
You want to join our fan club for $50?
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Oh, man.
Good stuff.
All right. Well, this brings us into our next segment. Rob, I don't know if you have anything, but I do, and I'm ready to spit the facts here with Batpedia. The one that I found, which I thought was very interesting, is due to the Batmobile's low styling, the ears of Batman's original outfit weren't able to fit inside of the vehicle. So the masks were all remade to ensure they didn't have the same problem, and the films continued. So I thought that's pretty interesting.
No way.
Yeah, small little fact.
That was for 89?
Yep.
And then, wow.
So now going forward,
about.
After that, they made sure that it was tooled correctly so that they wouldn't have to go through that again. But that's interesting.
Damn, who would ever think about that stuff like that until it actually happens, huh?
So you imagine Keaton's getting in the Batmobile and the top doesn't close. Ah, my damn ears.
And he came in turn to begin with. Now all of a sudden his ears are getting smashed. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's cool. So do you have any more?
So do you have any more? You know what? I'm going to stick to one this week. I do have some more, but I don't want to.
No, I just wanted to ask before I went on. That's all.
No, for sure. What do you got?
Okay. You ever wonder why, when you watch Batman the Animated Series, why it's so dark and they can consist of such consistent dark colors?
Guess I never have.
Well, what's pretty badass.
Why don't you tell me why?
Because, you know, when you draw from a white piece of paper and you try and get darker and darker, it's harder. You know, it's almost like a huge process. What's so badass about that show was when they were drawing cells and stuff like that, it was made on black construction paper. Yeah.
Eric Radomski was the architect of the architecture, so to speak. He was mostly, I think, involved with the backgrounds. One of his ideas was to create the backgrounds on black paper so that people were drawing with lighter materials on this dark surface so that it created a moody atmosphere.
As dark as I can do the show, this is the way I would play it. I'd love to have characters moving in and out of the shadows. At night, you only see elements, you fill in the gaps. Kind of the perfect approach to Gotham City.
So that's why they can maintain that darkness, and like you can kind of see like in the earlier episodes like that texture, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of went backwards. They kind of started from the front and went backwards. And I don't know any other show, any other animated show that's ever done that.
Yeah,
so it's
that's wild, but that makes sense now that you say that. That's sweet. That's a fun fact, folks, I would say.
Fun
fact. Well,
what's really fun is when am I going to show you your Comic-Con exclusive?
Well, folks, before we completely close out the show, this is the moment that everybody's been waiting for. Now, there is something that Rob had is going to surprise me with that he got at Comic-Con, which according to him says that there's only 400 of these.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's tell everybody that when I went there, you wanted me to get exclusives free. You wanted a AEW action figure and a Halo action figure, which you got it. Look at you. But it's like it's really tricky with these events because it's like first come first serve. That's why people get into this everything line. People like charge. Who made that? What was it? Hasbro?
Which one?
Jaspers, yes.
Jaspers,
AEW. So like that's why people charge these things to get stuff like that. So I was unable to get that for you, and and the Halo was available on Sunday, and I wasn't going Sunday, so I'm like, well, Vern's kind of shit out of luck, and I haven't got him anything.
This is the part of the show where Rob just tells everybody how much he disappointed Vern at Comic-Con. So continue, please.
So I wanted to be a good friend, and I'm like, you know what? I went to a certain toy booth, and they had this mutual character that we both love, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna get him this. I'm like, there's no way he's not gonna like this. So sure enough, and I asked the guys, and they said only 400 of them were made, supposedly, allegedly. So if we could please turn the background off.
All right.
Are you ready?
It's showtime. Whoa.
Here we go. Drum roll, please. Now this is. Yep. So this is
That's the VHS version?
Yes.
Dude, no way.
And it's made by Diamond Select.
Diamond Select.
And it's made as a VHS. And then it's got an open shell where you can take a look inside.
OMG, dude. Holy crapola, dude. That is epic. I just seen some guy put a review on that. I was like, dude, I didn't even know they had that. That's amazing.
Yeah. So
did you get yourself one?
I did.
Okay, good.
And I was gonna ask you, like, I don't know if you would want to keep that on or take that off and act as a real VHS, but yeah, what do you think? You like it?
Oh, dude, I love it. Thank you, dude. That is awesome.
Right on.
Oh, cool. Man. And 400 only. That's incredible.
Yeah. Allegedly, right?
Yeah. Well, they probably do like 430 with like, if there were some bad ones or whatever, you know what I mean?
And I went there the next day and they were gone. So I was like, thank God I got it. And like they had like Johnny Lawrence from Cobra Kai and
Johnny Laurinaitis.
Yes, we're on Pee-wee's Big Adventure right here. Wow, we're everywhere right here.
How are the people?
Oh, people power.
People power.
Oh, I just got fired.
Oh, no, man, that is awesome.
Holy hell. Oh.
10 minutes later.
Today's secret words.
Today's secret words.
John Wick.
John Wick VHS.
Back to reality.
Well, folks,
I'm glad you like it.
Dude, that is awesome. That is something I didn't expect. I thought it might have been like a little keychain that said Rob was there. He was going to send. I had it custom made for you. See, it says my name.
I'm glad your expectations are that low.
Well, no, when you say like, I didn't know if it was like one of the booth giveaways. You know how sometimes they do that stuff.
Oh,
you know?
yeah. Oh,
I didn't know
good,
it was
man.
like.
That's good.
Thought it was a
I
Greg
was
Horn
here.
sign print.
Yeah, we don't talk about that guy.
No social media.
Yeah. So yeah. Okay, cool.
All right, well, folks, we are just actually about running out of time here. So we're going to do our closing remarks. Rob, thank you. Post-production is going to be exciting because you're going to be inserting a lot of cool video and images from San Diego Comic-Con. So I'm looking forward to that. And I hope you folks at home are as well. And episode 6 is, believe it or not, going to be coming up next year, folks. So if you've stuck with us for 5, hold out for 6, because it's going to be a wild ride. All right, folks, and that will do it for the Batman Who Pod today in episode 5. And remember, make sure you like and subscribe to hear us talk about all things Batman, because when that bell notification hits, brother,
it's just not a conversation.
It's a podcast. All right, folks, that'll do it for us. Again, thank you. Tell all your friends and neighbors to like and subscribe, and we will continue to entertain you for those of you who don't want to be entertained.
Absolutely.
Peace.
See ya.